up. Yee! We getting it, boy.
What's good? You know who it is. It's your boy, Jay in the Bay.
Your baller back again. Smells like football season.
Yo. Whoa.
Faithful, rise up. Yee! Let's freaking get it, man. It is Victory Monday. Man, welcome to Straight Out of the Bay. We got the crew with us tonight. Jay in the Bay, my man Bay Area baller Eric. How you doing, Jay?
What's good? It's Victory Monday, man. I couldn't be better, man.
Let's go. How you doing, my man Eric?
Feeling great. Niners dub. We're moving on. Pumped up to talk to you guys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, what a freaking game. What a freaking game. And that's just one of the topics, man, is
It was sweaty. I was sweating that one out.
Man, I did the live play-by-play. I feel you, man. It was just I'd almost don't want to say a slugfest but it was. It was just like sometimes I thought about slugfest and I was like, well, it wasn't like, 40-40, but it was just that old school different version of a freaking slugfest, man. It was everything you could have wanted, man, and hey, man, let's just hop straight into some of these topics. And first off, we got to say what's up to the chat. We got to say what's up to the first few people rolling through. And like I always like to say when it comes to Straight Out of the Bay, y'all, for those who know the show, we're from the Bay, so that's why we named it Straight Out of the Bay. But whether you're from the Bay or from the UK, the 49ers are world freaking wide. And there's a reason for it because we got the legacy of the 5-time champion Super Bowl 49ers. Dating all the way back to good old Joe Cool. And Joe Cool, did y'all see Joe Montana come through in the Debo fit? Man, he had the chucks. He had the flannel. Hey, bro, it looked like he purposed. It looked like that was the Debo fit.
Profiling.
But we want to say what's up to Boats, Raphael 562 Niners. Good stuff for coming through. We got E Kim in the house. Hey, what is up with y'all? I know y'all must be feeling lovely just like we are. But hey, man, what a game. What a game. And I guess I could start the first. Hey, you know what? Hold on a minute. I'm going to start off by showing that Joe Cool. Where's he at? I got Joe Cool somewhere because I seen it. Because I heard someone talk about it, and then I was kind of like, let me check it out. Let me see if I can find it. But that just feels like the Debo fit right there. And he had the chucks. He had the flat. The double flat. That's like the Craig and the Debo mixed in one right there.
Yeah, I'm a little confused by that. It's like two different shirts like sewn together. That's neither here nor there.
Yeah. That was a little different, man. And with the shades too, man. He had the Debo. Man, I don't know. It just had all the feeling to me. It had the feels of that to the fullest. Hey, man, I'm going to hop straight into the first topic, man. And I just I'll start it off, man. What surprised you the most? And I think there got to be a ton of credit given to the Dallas Cowboys. I know a lot of times it's like we fixate so hard, or maybe not us, but just as fans in general, we fixate on what we did, what we didn't do. But hey, man, the Dallas Cowboys speed on their defense, that surprised me. The speed of their defense, man, they were going toe to toe with us. We didn't see the explosive runs. We didn't see the explosive plays, I was real proud of Brock Purdy not making a big mistake and throwing the ball away. He was getting, and the way they were covering, I think people were like, he was holding on to the ball too long. I was like, hey, they must be covering real well on the back end, playing man to man, Dan Quinn, so I'm going to just say the speed and the Dallas Cowboys defense, that surprised me. But I'll start it off with you, my man Jay in the Bay. What surprised you the most in this game?
Gotta say what's good to everyone in the chat. Appreciate everyone coming through. I was surprised that the 49ers running game couldn't really get going. I think Dallas was like in the middle of the pack as far as what they gave up during the season as far as running yards. But in the game, Dallas, their defensive line came to play. We weren't I didn't notice our offensive linemen really getting to the second level and getting their hands on linebackers. So that way the running back could, scamper for 10, 12 yards. We didn't really see that. So that was a little surprising. And obviously we've got Philly next week, and their defensive line is considerably better than Dallas. So it's going to be interesting game next week. But sticking to this game, definitely surprised the running game couldn't get going. I was surprised. I would say I was also surprised. Special teams kind of. I don't remember the last time I saw a special teams performance that bad, especially in kickoff coverage. That was something that Dallas. It was Turpin time. He looked pretty good for the Cowboys. But
there were a couple punts that should have been downed inside the 10.
Yeah. So the special teams, they had an off day. Ray fumbled. That was surprising. Fortunately, it didn't come back to bite us. But I would say, Dak being Dak, that didn't surprise me at all. That I was like, it was only a matter of time before he starts turning over the ball. So I would say the running game was not being effective surprised me. The special teams was bad. And also we were ineffective in the red zone. Only 1 for 3. That's definitely not going to get it done next week against Philly. So definitely got to be better in that area. But that's what surprised me.
Yeah, Jay, you read my mind, because I was looking at the lack of the efficiency in the run game. And then the second surprise was the fact that the 49ers only scored 1 touchdown, right? The short little McCaffrey run. If you would coming in, I was thinking, 2-3 touchdowns at least. Purdy's going to have 2 or 3 touchdowns, right? But no, Kelts alluded to it. The Dallas defense played well. They made things tough. And when the 49ers got the ball down in the red zone, they kind of sputtered. The offense sputtered. That's why Robbie Gould kicked 4 field goals. So, biggest surprise to me, only 1 touchdown for the Niners, and then the lack of efficiency in the run game.
And CMC was basically shut down in the game. I know we saw him, he had like some wrap or something on his calf. That's definitely something that we'll monitor this week. But he wasn't really the same in that game yesterday. Hey, credit to Dallas Cowboys. They really did a number on him. And we were talking about it before the show. Dan Quinn, obviously, he knows Kyle Shanahan real well from their days with the Atlanta Falcons. So I guess it is no surprise. It shouldn't be surprising, right? That Quinn knows what he wants to do on offense, and he had a pretty good game plan prepared, and it was executed for the most part. They just couldn't get the W. So
I think the biggest reason why I was surprised by the Dallas defense was it got spoiled. I feel like I got spoiled over the past few weeks, and I started expecting to see those 3-4 touchdowns in the red zone. I expected to see us put up a lot of points, and props to Dallas, man. Like I said in the beginning, it was a straight up slugfest. Hey, but nonetheless, man, we are headed to the freaking NFC Championship game. I mean, man, this is and to whoop on the Dallas Cowboys back to freaking back years. Montana in the house, Steve Young and Jerry Rice chilling together. Man, we got Michael Irvin Offset, back a few days ago talking about, let it keep on spinning. We're breaking records. We're the one putting up 35 points. And just to touch on that, man, this is a show where we're going to be showing some clips. And, man, I'm going to just get into 2 of the clips, because, hey, this is Victory Monday. This is a big deal, man. 2 years straight in the playoffs, 2 years straight headed to the NFC Championship game. And nothing is sweeter than whooping on them boys. But hey, we got this special little thing for y'all. We got so I'm gonna just let it rip. You know what? I'm gonna let it rip on the 49er side with this one real quick.
Oh my God. What? What did I tell y'all? Didn't I say just be patient? That's all I asked. That's all I asked. All I asked was for y'all to be patient. It was coming. It was coming. It didn't matter. High power, prolific offense. Michael Irvin, the playmaker. Keep it spinning or breaking records. We averaging more than 35 points per game. Well, what did you do tonight? Oh my God. can't wait till first thing tomorrow morning. Oh, I can't wait.
He said, keep it spinning. Let's go. And then I just so happened to find a response to that by Skip Bayless. So freaking sweet,
Another
man.
one in the trash.
Another
Skip Bayless is so cringy. That first
so
video is so cringy.
Oh man, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. You gotta love
The
it.
Dak's performance the last 2 weeks, that would make me go crazy too. When he's looks great against Tampa Bay. He looks like that was one of his best performances we had ever seen, right? And then the next week, he looks like those 2 interceptions. I wouldn't expect that type of throw from a guy like Dak Prescott, who has played so many games that he's played. The first one, what was the first one? The first one was Demo Lenore. How do he should have threw that at least 3 seconds sooner, at least. I mean, you got to throw it before. How do I know you need to throw the ball before your wide receiver makes your break on that comeback route? Like you can't make that throw after he's already made his break. It's too late. Like that was a super easy pick for Demo. And then the second one, he stared down his receiver. Didn't really, but that was a heady play by Jimmy Ward too. That was a great play to kind of watch his eyes and then go for the ball. But
he tried to squeeze that ball between Fred Warner and Jimmy Ward.
Yeah,
it was a bad decision.
Yeah, terrible decision. And that's why he led the league in interceptions this year, because of decisions like that. And you just can't depend on him. Like when he plays against the average talent to below average, he looks pretty good. But when he goes up against the upper echelon talent, especially defensively, he's prone to make those mistakes. So if I was a Cowboys fan too, I'd be going crazy too, no doubt.
Absolutely, real talk. Hey, man, man. Purdy does not look like a rookie compared to these 7-year vets and anybody he's facing. Man, it looks like he's the one on top of most. Hey, we got I'm not sure who this is to, but we got a super chat by Blue True in the house.
Blue True, hot
dog.
Blue True says pair character. Oh, I think this is an emoji. So the pair character is lifting some weight, saying keep it up. Yeah, I mean, we still got one more game to go. Appreciate that super chat, Blue True. Thanks for tuning in tonight, and everyone else that's in the stream. Niner Sickness, David V, JR, who else? Melissa, Malcolm, Kim, Steve, Jesus. Appreciate all you guys tuning into the stream. Feel free to hit that thumbs up button if you guys are excited that the Niners will be in the NFC Conference Championship game against the Eagles on Sunday. Make sure you guys hit that like button. We appreciate it.
Real talk. And I also see Low the Truth. I don't know if you said Low, but hey, man, it's been a minute. Good stuff for coming through, my man. David V. Yeah, man, everybody's in the house right now. It's Victory Monday, man. This is a beautiful thing that we got going on. Hey, let's just jump straight into the next topic, man. Who stood out? Who was the main person to y'all that stood out on offense? I mean, it wasn't, offensive game that we've been accustomed to, but nonetheless, I view it as, hey, man, we played a pretty dang clean game. I think Kyle Shanahan was like, man, I'm going to just try to run it. I'm going to just try to run it down your throat. Like I said in the beginning, I feel like Dallas played a pretty good defense, making Purdy hold on to the ball. And I just feel like the differences of throwing the ball away compared to making a big mistake is so huge. And Purdy's just doing tremendous. And he's been so effective while doing it. But who stood out on offense, man? I don't want to take the easy one from, but and I gotta go with Kittle, man. I gotta go with freaking Kittle, man. Just to make that catch. And not only that catch, but it feels like whenever the game really needed a momentum shift, and I did the live play-by-play, and I was talking to the chat like, "Man, it feels like Dallas got momentum. We need momentum. We need," and sure enough, like 5-10 minutes later, boom, there was the momentum shift with that freaking catch. Shame on Diggs for not, putting his body on the line there. I don't know what he was. Maybe he just seen the head-on collision coming with a big body like Kittle, because it looked like he ducked that one without a doubt. Kittle, man. Get that man some dang Skittles or something. I don't know, man. I don't even know what else to say about it. But Kittle, man, he continues to ball out. He had a off week, I guess, last week, but arguably probably the best complete tight end in the NFL, blocking and just the joy he brings to the game, but also the heart he brings to the game. Before the game was started, he was out there hugging his family and doing all these things, getting all, I heard on the radio station this morning, should you be getting lovey-dovey like that before a game, or should you be doing that stuff after the game? It's like, hey, man, Kittle's a different breed. Hey, he brings joy, but he also is a monster on the field. So I gotta go with Kittle, man. He stood out to me without a doubt. And I'll start off with you, Baller, man. Who stood out on offense to you? Hey, if you want to hop on the Kittle train, hey, but bring it.
No doubt. No, Kittle was big time. I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. I'm going Brock Purdy. All right, and it wasn't an obviously great game for Brock Purdy, right? No touchdowns. But when I watched him play, it felt like when the 49ers needed a play, when we had to convert a third down, he got it done most of the time. The offense was moving, right? It was like we talked about earlier. It was the efficiency in the red zone or lack thereof. And what I will say is, as complimentary as I was about Kyle Shanahan last week against the Seahawks, right? He was scheming it up. There were chunk plays to be had all over the field. I wasn't quite getting that same vibe, right? This Dallas credit the Dallas defense, but I don't think Shanahan. I think he's had better game plans, is what I'm alluding to. I don't think this was Shanahan's best work, but Brock Purdy, he made some things happen, right? We all know George Kittle had the 95 yards. Deebo Samuel had 4 receptions for 45. And when I'm looking at Brock Purdy's numbers here, 19 of 29 for over 200 yards. He wasn't great, but Brock was rock solid, and I think he deserves to be shouted out.
Absolutely.
And I could actually go a lot of different ways with this answer. And I know you guys are thinking, what? Y'all only put up 19 points. What you talking about, Jay? But I would say, the big silverback in Trent Williams, holding one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. I mean, I know Micah Parsons, he made some tackles. He had 4 tackles. I think 2 of them were solo, but he really didn't have any sacks. I think he only had 1 quarterback hit, but his imprint wasn't really felt in the game. Exactly, Trent Williams. So credit to Trent Williams. Obviously, that was a good matchup just to watch as entertainment. 2 of the best in their sport at their particular positions going at it. But I thought Trent Williams had the upper hand. So, kudos to Trent. We're going to need another one of those games next week against Philly. That's for sure. I like what I saw from Juwan. I mean, I know he doesn't get a lot of targets in the passing game, but it seems like his catches come at critical times in the game. Like he had that big catch. I don't know if it was an in route or a post route, but he caught that thing and it got us into, field position. And of course, Robbie Gould. I mean, he's the MVP, right? I mean, 4 field goals. He was perfect. Can you imagine if we had those issues that Dallas had with their kicker? I don't know if we would be going to the NFC Championship game if we couldn't rely on our kicker like Robbie Gould. So, those 2 guys stood out to me. Also, there was one other guy. His name is escaping me right now, but Trent Williams stood out, Robbie Gould, and I would say Elijah Mitchell. Obviously, CMC was nicked up. We saw that. I think in the second half he was really only coming in on like third downs and stuff. So, Elijah Mitchell, he was tasked with carrying the load, and he was able to do that. He got that huge first down. Just stay in bounds.
Fourth quarter, Eli Mitchell was really good in the fourth quarter.
Exactly. He was helping moving the chains when nothing else was really working. But just stay in bounds at the end of the game. But I think those are the three guys that stood out to me in yesterday's game versus Dallas.
Yeah, I did want to, hey, great analysis by both of y'all, on who stood out to y'all. I did want to touch on something you were talking about, Baller, was, it did seem a little vanilla to me. It did seem like a little bit of a vanilla game plan, right? And so after everything, after the dust settled, I kind of flipped the script on this. I was like, all right, it kind of looked vanilla. And then just to even back it up, there wasn't one jet sweep. There wasn't, and I was calling for it when I was watching the game. Hey, we need to see a jet sweep. We need to see something like, let's get creative. Let's get in the bag. It's go time. But one thing now, after the dust is settled, I'm kind of looking at it like I'm glad. Like we were able to pull off the victory in this kind of fashion, this slugfest type of battle, playing vanilla, playing smart, safe, and that just sets it up almost better for if there is, because Philly's going to be watching, a lot of this game versus Dallas. You know what I'm saying? And for us to be able to escape the victory with, pound and pound and pound in the second half with Elijah and just, just barely getting by, I just think it bodes well for the next game. And for us to not beat the brakes off of the Cowboys, it's almost better to even show that checks another box for Purdy. It's just, I'm just choosing to look at the bright side. Like, I just feel like this was a perfect type of a game that could have happened when you're going to go up versus someone like Philly. Like, we're used to playing. Like, if you look at the last 4 or 5 games that Philly has played, there's not a lot of consistency. Gardner Minshew was in there for a minute. They're beating up on kind of bad teams. New York Giants last game of the season didn't even play their starters. They take a week off. They come through hot and heavy, and beat the brakes off of the New York Giants. The 49ers are battle tested in all ways. We've shown that we could beat teams down. We showed that we could win close games, playoff game, so I just feel like in a way, it almost makes this game coming up versus Philly even better, having that vanilla type style. But I was frustrated watching it. I was super frustrated. Like, I expected us to do a lot more, but hey, credit to them as well. Hey, I'm gonna
I would
go ahead.
I would just add something that in this particular game, I think it is kind of true that maybe Shanahan didn't want to show too much versus Philly.
Yeah.
That could be, but also I felt like the Niners defense was playing so well that Shanahan, didn't have to do anything special. Like, I felt like, Dak just puked himself and, throwing those 2 interceptions really gave the 49ers offense more chances to score. And I just felt like Shanahan he felt like he didn't need to be super creative because, hey,
Yep.
the defense is playing so well. They're not giving up much. We don't really have to do a lot. Basically, just win the time of possession, right? At the end of the day, once we got that lead, it basically was just win the time of possession, get out with the win, run the ball, which is something that Shanahan has kind of been criticized for in the past. Like, oh, if you have a lead, why are you throwing the ball? No, just run the ball. And that's kind of what we did in the fourth quarter. But I just felt like the defense was playing so well that maybe he felt like he wanted to be conservative. Maybe that's the better word.
I feel it.
I feel conservative.
I feel like Shanahan sometimes like I'm gonna do it my way, like Frank Sinatra. Like I'm gonna go straight up old school and I'm gonna do it my way. And sometimes I think he gets so it's frustrating watching it sometimes, but when I do take a step back, I appreciate it. But hey, man, let's hop into the next subject. Who stood out on defense? I'll start off with you, Baller. Yeah, man, who stood out on defense? There's quite a few guys, man. And it was just an old school battle, and I love it. I'm just replaying it all in my head, and I'm just so juiced up about what happened. But yeah, man, who stood out on defense to you, Baller?
I mean, it was easy to my eyes. Fred Warner was the best player on that field, regardless of side of the ball. Fred Warner, he had tackles for losses. We saw the interception, right? He had sticky coverage. We know Jimmy Ward tipped it up, but Fred Warner was right there. I mean, like we said, Dak tried to thread a needle.
I play the gun real. Wait, hold on. That's just for Fred freaking Warner, man. It's just like, right. Let's go.
Yeah, Fred was big time. How about the play where he ran the seam route down the middle of the field, stride for stride with CeeDee Lamb? Fred Warner,
special.
All his skills were on display. He's the best coverage linebacker in the NFL. He's also really good versus the run. We saw him shooting gaps, making plays. He's sniffing out
Tackles for losses.
screens. Yeah. Fred Warner was spectacular, and I'm not going to take all the guys, but the other player I wanted to mention was Talanoa Hufanga. I know he missed a tackle or two, but those were tough tackles in my opinion. He was flying, running backs making a cut. But the way he was timing up these snaps, fellas, I mean, how many times have we seen it?
He was looking like Palomalu out there.
An innate ability to time up the snap, get into the backfield. He got a QB hit, nearly had the sack on Dak Prescott on one of the plays. So those are two players I'm shouting out on defense.
Man, hey, great selections. Talanoa Hufanga, man. Those blitzes definitely. I think he forced a field goal by one of them, and another play I think was thrown to Zeke, but it was like for negative yardage. So those plays clearly helped the defense. So Huff is continuing to play well. I would say Samson. He had the lone sack of the game, and I believe it was in the fourth quarter, and it forced a punt. So kudos to Samson for getting that sack, and I think Bosa finished him off. Dak, that is. So Samson played well. Dre Greenlaw, man, I love his passion, his energy, but Dre Greenlaw, he's either going to drop a pick or he's going to hit somebody after the whistle. That's what
we hadn't seen it in a while, Jay.
In a minute.
He was holding back. We hadn't seen it. I want to say since week one. He had a couple week one, and we all got pissed off at Dre. But it did crop up again yesterday.
Yeah, so it's
not
like
a good time.
You got to take the good with the bad. Like it's no one's perfect. We're all flawed individuals, but Dre, sometimes you got to turn it down a notch, man.
Dre,
but then you want him to be physical too. So it's like Draymond Green, right? You love him if he's your teammate, but you hate to play against him. Like, but Draymond, he's always at that line, and of course he passes it by getting those texts. But that's kind of like with Dre Greenlaw. It's the same thing. But I thought he still played well. He was flying around the field, and of course Fred Warner. I think that was probably one of his best playoff games for sure that we saw from Fred Warner. Tackles for losses, running back with with CeeDee Lamb, as Eric said earlier. So those are the guys who stood out to me.
Hey, before I get into mine, and it might be even similar to y'all's, I just got to respond to what you guys were saying because, come on, Dre. It's like you got to not in the playoffs. Like, leave that for the regular season. Hey, I understand nobody's perfect, but not in the playoffs. Like, man, it's
and Jimmy had the one against the Seahawks, so it's we gotta eliminate
exactly. And we seen it last year versus the Rams in the NFC Championship game. We see Tart drop an interception. We see, I think it was Jimmy Ward, where he did the late hit out of bounds. In the NFC Championship game. We cannot make these kind of mistakes in the playoffs. Versus the Eagles, we have to make that pick six. Versus the Eagles, we cannot take that 15-yard penalty. It's like you just can't do it. You just cannot do it when you're in, to win a Super Bowl. Those are the things we definitely, those self-inflicted wounds. Those are things you could easily just, correct, but just like, man, leave that in the regular season, please. But man, I also wanted to touch on Fred Warner, man, because there is a unanimous leader on this 49er team, and it's Fred Warner. He is the leader. Like Bosa, he is a monster. He's one of the best in the NFL, but if you're just talking about the leader of this team, it's Fred Warner.
Bosa's more lead by example.
Yeah.
And Fred's the total package.
Fred is the total freaking package to the fullest. On the field, off the field, in the huddle, you know what I'm saying? Challenging Ayuk in all the way from training camp. And look at Ayuk's growth from when he was being challenged. Look at the way Fred Warner would challenge Trey Lance when he's first coming up. Make those mistakes. Throw those balls in those tight windows. I could see eventually someone like Brock, having those kind of characteristics. He's already saying, hey, get your ass in line to veterans. You know what I'm saying? So, but right now it's Fred Warner. It's Fred Warner. It's freaking all pro Fred. And just, man, what a time to stand out. What a time to, who stood out, hey, that's the perfect time to stand out is in the playoffs. So, hey, Greenlaw, follow the lead by, or, follow that example, man. Just you got to be sharp on all edges. And, Fred was definitely that, man. It was maybe the best game I ever seen him play, and the perfect time to do it in a rivalry versus the Dallas Cowboys. Let's freaking go. So
Yeah.
it's like, and then we seen Armstead, Hey, I do also want to give props to Bosa, and I wanted to play a little something because I wanted to play a little clip because people get so wrapped up in numbers. I think sometimes it's easy to be swayed when you don't see a sack in 3 or 4 games. And I've seen Bosa have some games where he had no sacks and played a hell of a game and played maybe arguably some of his better games where he didn't even have stats. And I just wanted to show a quick little clip, and it's actually going to be a little Baldy breakdown. It's going to be a little 1-minute clip of a Baldy breakdown, just explaining just being disruptive. And it's not always going to pop out on a stat sheet, but I just wanted to bring this example because sometimes we could say the words, but I believe he didn't get a sack, but still, watch how disruptive this man was. If I could find it, give me 1 second. If I got it, yeah. So this is just an example of it might not pop up on the stat sheet, but he's still a monster.
Best defense in football all year. These are 3 plays in the first 5 minutes of the game. You're going to let the rookie Tyler Smith block Nick Bosa? Okay. Well, you're going to get a flag on the hold right there. Okay. Now, there's Dak getting the ball out. I mean, Tayshaun Gibson almost had himself another interception right here. Got both hands on the ball. All right? You're looking right here. Like, here's a 1st and 10. All right? Big, heavy indicator that they're going to run the ball. So watch what Eric Armstead does to Zach Martin. It's a guaranteed run blitz right here. They're just going to grab Martin and let Fred come through and take down Tony Pollard for a 2-yard loss. Then you get this situation here. All right? Here we go. You get an overload right here with the Menahu. All right, now you're going to get Nick coming here, going to be grabbing the ankles of Dak Prescott. Now, Dak steps up to make this throw on 3rd and 7. And this is it, man. It's a Malachi crunch. Quarterbacks are going to get hit against this front. They challenge everything. Watch Greenlaw's hand. Like, he's right in the passing lane. And then watch Hufanga right here. Like, challenge everything. Those are just 3 plays in the first 5 minutes. That's how the 49ers play defense. They challenge every single thing you do.
I freaking love it.
Great analysis. Great analysis.
If you guys
you wouldn't know that just by looking at the stat sheet like that.
Yeah,
that's
you
like
just
the
wouldn't.
lazy way of
Yeah.
Bosa didn't have any sacks. He didn't do much.
But
yeah,
I do gotta say, if anybody doesn't know, and you better know, but if you don't know, go check out Baldy at Baldy NFL at Baldy NFL. Go check that man out because he just hypes me up, man. I freaking love it, man. Anytime I see any parts of his breakdown, so I had to throw that in there, man, just because I know sometimes it could just sound like words, but it's like, nah, man. It's when you really slow it down and really start getting into the all 22s and slow motion, you can see how disruptive it is. Like he said, like they are challenging everything at every single freaking level. It's just beautiful, beautiful football, man.
Absolutely.
I was glad you brought Bosa up because I had written it down that Bosa was good. I watched the game back today, and when I was watching defense, my eyes were gravitating towards Bosa because it was like, okay, he didn't have a sack, but how impactful was he? And what I saw was multiple pressures. He was pressuring Dak Prescott. He was making him uncomfortable, pushing the pocket. He had a tackle for loss in the run game. And like Baldy showed, that was the first play on defense. Yeah. Bosa was held.
Yeah.
And he also, the offensive lineman, that left tackle, the rookie Smith, jumped offside, when Bosa was across from him. So those are the little things that do make an impact on the game. But you're right, Kelt. I wrote it down. Bosa was good.
Yep. Real talk, man. So, hey, like I said, man, sometimes it's not going to pop up on the stat sheet. And then even, we got our man, Niner Gang podcast in the house. Dion, what's up with it? Yee! We also got Sean Tuber in the house. What's up with it? Tile Rob. If there's a few other people I missed, my bad. Bebop Jones. Yeah, man. JR Meadows. Oh, I'm way back. Malcolm. What's up to all y'all? Hopefully everybody is blessed. We're all here. So good stuff for coming through and checking us out. We got David McNiner in the house. Oh, who else? A few other people. Like I said, if I missed you, my bad. Hit that like, hit that sub. Yee. All right, man. We're about to get back into game balls. You know who gets the ultimate golden game ball, man? Who is that? Or you know what? Let me throw a few. Let me make this a couple topics. Like, who's the underdog? Who's the unsung hero? Who gets the game ball? Just spill the rest of it. Like, who do you got for? Who was your underdog dude? Who was your main dude? Just anybody we might have left out. Just let it flow. I'm gonna go ahead and just I'm going to give man, this is tough. You know what? I'm gonna flip the script on this. I'm gonna give my dang game ball to John freaking Lynch for having the fastest time in NFL history from getting to the press box down on that dang field. That man still, I think he might have only hit a 4.7 in his fastest time of his day, but he still got the 4.7 locked in. And he must have been trucking some people through them aisles, or he must have been. I don't know if they got a special elevator.
They got a
or,
special elevator. He not mingling with the regular folk. Nah, he got a special
Now,
elevator.
I'm saying even through his little secret little passageways, man, he might have pulled a stiff arm on somebody or something because, hey,
We know Lynch can hit, so that ain't no
oh
problem. We
yeah,
know he
oh
can
yeah.
hit.
God, I loved watching him hit too, man. I love it. Steve Atwater, John Lynch, Rod Woodson, Rod Woodson too. But yeah, just those older dudes. Now I'm starting to think of some old Eagles safeties, Dawkins and all of them, man. I love safeties. I love them, man. I love the hard hitters. And you got, of course, Rodney Lott. But hey, John Lynch, I'm going to give it to him, man. This roster is freaking stacked. It's stacked, and it still was impressive. I think it took him 2 minutes or something. So someone actually clocked the time, how long it took him to get from the press box to the field. And hey, John Lynch, man, that's who I was almost gonna say Shanahan, and I know it was a vanilla, but it's like I appreciate that he went old school and he said, you know what, in the second half, I'm gonna run it down your throat. Like what? Like I'm gonna, and you did see the Dallas defense start to break down. I remember calling the game, and I'm like, okay, they're starting to get broke down. Here comes Mitchell. Okay, hey, we're starting to build the momentum. Like, and it wasn't sexy, but it was satisfying. When you get a victory and it reminds me of watching an old school baseball game when it's 0-0 and then the game winds up being 2-1. It wasn't the flashy game, but it was a duel. And so I'm gonna give it to John Lynch. And then for my underdog, like unsung hero, this is straight from the hip. So I got almost, what? I'm gonna let y'all take it off for the game ball first. Let me think of an unsung hero.
Yeah, good call. For me, it's easy. I'm giving the ball to Fred Warner. Like I said, Fred was the best player on the field. He was flying around all over the place. We already talked about it. He was just spectacular. The defense was great, right? Cowboys only put up 12 points, and the best player on defense, in my opinion, was Fred Warner.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to second baller, but I'm just gonna give it to the entire defense. I think only allow 12 points to a Dallas Cowboys team that had put up, I think, 28 points the previous week. Granted, Tampa Bay's defense can't sniff the Niners, but there was a stat that I found very interesting. So Dak Prescott passing the ball, 10 plus yards in the air. Last week against the Bucks in the wild card game, he was 8 of 9, 158 yards and 3 touchdowns. Now, in yesterday's game against us, in that same category, passing the ball over 10 plus yards in the air, he was only 3 of 11, 78 yards and an interception. So that's like a complete 360. And honestly, that's what I thought Dak would be. Dak would be great against mediocre teams, but against the best of the best, he shrinks and he makes, bad decisions in the pocket with throwing those 2 interceptions. So my game ball, 49ers defense.
Let's go. Hey, I did think of 2 kind of unsung heroes, and it ties in perfectly to what you were just saying, Jay. Jimmy Ward. Jimmy Ward and Lenore. It's like, there's been little question marks on Lenore. How's he gonna do versus better receivers? Little question marks on Jimmy Ward, CD in the slot, or this, that, or the other. But man, just impressive. And Kavarius Ward, it's like all of them, like all the stats you were just saying. How many catches did Lamb have? I think was this back to back
I mean,
playoffs.
Lamb was good, but they couldn't really get in the end zone, so it didn't really matter. Like that's what the Niners defense does.
What was his stats though?
Let
You
He
got
me.
caught he caught 10 balls.
Yeah, but
CD Lamb? Wow.
Yeah.
How many? What was his average?
Like, well,
he had 10 catches,
117
117 yards. His biggest play was the catch over Lenore. Like that was his biggest play, and that was 46 yards. But other than that, I mean,
that was half of it. That was half of it right there. Other than that, it's just it was check downs basically.
Yeah.
But hey, man, props to Lenore stretching out and completing that interception. And then I just keep on seeing Jimmy Ward at the end of that game just smoking him to end the game, just for that to be the way you end the game. Like, got me flexing right now, just like, and I freaking loved it, man. So those will be my unsung heroes. Those two guys together. If you guys got some underdog, what did Kevin Givens, did he, man, I'm thinking now. I'm starting to think about Kinlaw as well. But did anybody notice Givens or Kinlaw or anybody like that?
I love me some Kevin Givens, but he didn't have no pop plays that really jumped out at me. Because when I see a Kevin Givens big time play, whether he's shooting a gap or getting the pressure or having a tackle for loss, usually it stands out to me because I love me some Kevin Givens. But I don't know, Jay, did you see something? I didn't see nothing from my boy Givens.
Nah, I didn't see anything from Givens or Kinlaw. Honestly, nothing that really stood out. Nah. But my unsung would be Robbie Gould. I mean, he made the tackle on Turpentine, because Turpentine was about to take it to the house, and Robbie Gould said, I only have to wrap my arms around you. You just got to run into my back. And then, Turpentine went down. So no doubt Robbie Gould gets mine, and plus the field goals. I mean, if he misses one of those field goals,
man,
it's a different ball game.
He's 29 of 29 now, I believe, in the playoffs.
Wow.
That man is 29 of 29 in, like, I mean, hey, man, that's he got to do the Purdy right there. He got to do the ice in the veins right there. Like, man,
absolutely.
Hey, and people were starting to worry about good old Robbie Gould, in that Raider game. Oh man, it's like you missed 2 field goals. It's like, I don't know about Robbie, man. Like, it's like, hold on a minute. Like, I heard things about our special teams too. Like, I don't know, man. Ray, 1 fumble, a couple of kick returns. Like they're trash.
That was his only fumble this year, right?
They're trash. I'm like, man, hey, hold on, check it out, flip-flop generation. The Texans need a gang of fans, man, because if you're that quick to jump off, like the special teams could play a hell of a year, and they're trash. It's like, all right, man. Hey, it makes me feel dumb when I was talking crap about Kyle Shanahan. Like, man, I'm gonna just be a little bit more slow to say anything about anybody. Like, because when I do hear it,
you got to have the courage of your convictions, man. You can't let these Twitter trolls out here get to you.
hey, sometimes emotions are a liar, man. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, hey, man, hey, I admit it though. Hey, I will try to own it though. At least, what I'm saying.
You got to stand on it, because man, earlier in the year when we were struggling, man, you would say, "Hey, man, Shanahan can't cut it, man. Get this guy out."
I'm with Shanahan. Tired of this, man. Where's Shanahan's jersey? I'm burning it right now. Where's that Texas Longhorn jersey? Man,
Exactly,
I'm cutting that tattoo off of Shanahan right now of Chris Sims. Hey, I just got that. Took a whole different turn.
I got an unsung attribute.
Uh-oh.
I don't necessarily got a player, but there's an attribute of the defense that I want to call out in a positive light, and it's their ability to swarm. Right? They get helmets to the ball. There's always multiple guys around the ball, and you love to see that. And specifically, I want to shout out Demo and Charvarius Ward, because those two, I've said it before, they are so physical in the run game. A lot of these other teams' cornerbacks, when the running back comes, they're nowhere to be seen. But our guys stick their nose in there. I mean, Demo is super physical. Diamador Lenore is really good against the run. And Charvarius Ward is the same thing. So it's coached up, and I want to acknowledge it, the swarm and the tackling and physicality of our 2 cornerbacks.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, man, we seen what Diggs did. We see Diggs. We've seen it even last year, I believe. You could see, hey, there's there's just a mentality. There's a mentality that the 49ers have, and it's installed by Fred frickin' Warner. Like, it reminds me of, like, when teams go to the Warriors, and before some of these guys are drafted, Draymond will talk to him like, "Hey, bro, we are about rings. Like, we ain't playing now. I know the 49ers haven't won rings yet, but they still have that mentality. Like, it is all gas. We ain't playing no games. We are dogs up in here, and we got multiple dogs, on the offense and the defensive side of the ball. So I feel it, man. There's a reason why they're tackling like that. There's a reason why you see Hufanga playing fearless. Demo, like, man, what a tremendous year by freaking Lenore, man. From where he was last year to this year, man. That the growth is amazing. And I heard a while back on Crocker's show, he actually had Demo's sister on there, and just talking about his heart, and just a lot of stuff about him, and the growth has just been beautiful, man. And I mean that in a savage way. Um, yeah, man. So that's been dope, man. Hey, let's touch on this Eagle game if you guys want to a little bit. The 49ers versus the freaking Eagles, man. It's what is it, brotherly love, and that's a tough place. It's Philadelphia. It's the 1 seed. It's the 2 seed. This and it instantly makes me think of the nickname that some people have given Brock Purdy, Brocky Balboa. It makes me think. It makes me think of old Rocky flicks, and I made a little thumbnail of Apollo and Rocky, and it feels like, hey, we are the underdog right now versus them. And so right now we are the Rocky, they are the Apollo. It just feels like it has that story. It feels like it's just got that feel to it. And I just wanted to pick your guys' brain on it. I mean, of course, we know Jalen Hurts. Hey, he's playing phenomenal, but I don't know. I feel like we're more battle tested than them. I just truly do. Whether we have a rookie or not, and they have what they have, I just feel like I personally, hey, this is our third NFC championship game in 4 freaking years. We're hungry. We are hungry. I don't think they have the same level of being hungry like that. Yeah, I see this. How do I handle this situation? This might be
Yeah,
a first right here.
I wonder whose channel that's on.
Is it
So we
me?
can block it.
Yeah, I just blocked it. Let
Okay.
me put a timeout. Let me do all of it. How do you I blocked the user, put him
It
in
ain't
the
that type of show,
timeout,
man. It ain't
add
that
to
type of
block
show.
list, add to block list. I hit all of them. Yeah, it's definitely not. Or wait, hold on. I think I could do this too. Yeah, Deuces 669 that they want to come back, huh? Yeah, but anyways, man, hey, if you guys want to go ahead while I'm solving this little thing, if
Yeah.
y'all want to go ahead and touch on yeah,
Well,
the Eagles
Philly
and yeah, take it.
Philly beat the brakes off them good old Giants last week. And some things that stood out to me were the Eagles, they were 10 of 14 on third down efficiency. So they were able to continue to move the chains. Also, they were 4 or 5 in red zone attempts last week against the Giants. So they have a pretty good offense, and it was very effective in the red zone. They were also able to run the ball really well. And it begins and ends in the trenches. Like, we know that. But Philly, they got some dogs over there. I mean, Hassan Riddick, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, Josh Sweat, Javon Hargrave. Like, they have a lot of depth along their defensive line. And I think this will be the toughest matchup for this 49ers offensive line for sure. Being able to give Purdy enough time in the pocket to throw, and then also being able to open up holes for the running game. So I thought the Cowboys did an excellent job in really slowing down our run, and they kind of wore down in the fourth quarter, and that's what I hope will happen versus Philly. They'll get worn down in the second half of the game. But yeah, their D line is a problem, and also, hey, I'm not gonna say everything, but their D line for sure is one thing that stood out to me. And our offensive line that's the toughest matchup all season. I agree with B. Bop Jones, man.
Yeah. Yeah, the 49ers are going to have to play their A game. I mean, it was clear for the last 10 weeks that the Eagles and the 49ers are tier 1 in the NFC. Like, this matchup was inevitable, in my opinion. You got the two most talented teams. Jay was rattling off players on the defensive line, and they also got a good secondary, right? And in their secondary, they got Darius Slay, they got CJ Gardner Johnson, James Bradbury's a veteran, so they got a good secondary, they got a good defensive line. On offense, we know they got the weapons, right? They got the two premium stud receivers, Devontae Smith, AJ Brown. The tight end's good. Like, they got a lot of
O-line
talent.
is probably the best in the NFL. Like,
The O-line's really good. Yeah, Jay. I mean, Jason Kelsey's been the best center in the league for probably about a decade.
yeah.
And he's still so yeah, it's the two best teams, two most talented teams. But if the 49ers play their A game, they're gonna walk away with a win, in my opinion. Now, if you had to grade the performance against the Cowboys, I don't know what you guys would say. I would probably give it, like, with offense, defense, probably give it like a B minus, maybe something around there. I don't know if that gets it done against the Eagles, fellas. Like, you need A. Maybe you get by with a B plus game, but hey, 49ers come out, have your A game, and that'll get it done.
Do it right now. Hey, I feel it, man. This is definitely going to be our toughest battle. I did see some stats that showed matchup wise that Dallas matched. It feels like Dallas's defense matched up with our style of play a little bit better than Philly, but I will say that Philly definitely feels like they're way more physical. Like, it would be hard for me to see someone ducking out of, trying to hit somebody in Philly. It's just the way I feel about it. And I feel like Jalen Hurts, I feel like he got a little bit more moxie to him than maybe Dak does. So I think, we got to watch out, obviously, for Hurts. And then, hey, man, they got better receivers as well. They got dogs. This is just a heavyweight bout right here. This is going to be a good old Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier, or whoever the heck else. It's going to go down, and I can't freaking wait for it. I still feel confident, though. I still feel confident. I still feel like we're going to see it all from Shanahan. I feel like we're going to we're going to see whatever it freaking takes, and I wouldn't
might need a little trick play once in a while. It's okay to bring out a little trick play, right? Like,
hey,
a little McCaffrey pass or the Debo pass, and there was none of that against the Cowboys. So he maybe
that was on purpose. He played it hella vanilla. You know what I'm saying? And then even, hey, we could even look at the Seattle game, and was there really? That seemed kind of a little basic as well. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, man, I think something's brewing. I think it is freaking brewing, and I can't freaking wait. We got KP. I need to find something to say when someone
diggity dog.
I diggity dog, man.
Hello,
faithful.
my 49ers family, and I hope you all had a wonderful Monday. Same to you, KD. Appreciate you tuning in, man. Appreciate the super chat.
That was the wrong one. Yeah, we the best.
Faithful, rise up. Yee! I always want to try to do something special, man. Hey, man, good stuff, man. I don't know who that went to, but hey, it's all love no matter who it went to. Hey, man, we always, every time I see you, KD, I just feel like continuous prayers to you, man, because I know you, hey, man, I know you've been outspoken about, just some of the struggles that you go through, physically and all that. And I just hope and pray that just, that you have peace, man, that you got peace, that you got comfort, you got support from the 49er community, the Straight Out of the Bay crew, Jay, myself, Bay Area Baller, Real Talk, man. We got nothing but love for you, my man.
Absolutely.
And hey, good stuff for supporting, man, the way you do. You're always, always saying, hey, hopefully you're having a wonderful Monday, and those thoughtful words. I love you, man. So good stuff.
I think it's going to be a well said, Kels. Well said. I think it's going to be a close game, though. We're going to do score predictions of the game now.
Yeah, let's
the 49ers and Eagles.
Let's get into it. Hey, man. Hey, let's do a score prediction, and then also I'm going to go over what happened last week. We were all knotted up at 3-2, and then Amin was at 2-3. Man, I almost swept the board, but I do gotta say congratulations to Jay in the Bay. I think this might be the first I kno
What?
I think this might be the first time where Jay
Is
in the
that a
Bay
typo?
went undefeated in his
Woo!
playoff picks last week.
My
Wow.
boy.
He went
Wow.
4-0. So Jay is leading. Now Jay went 4-0, and then me, Amin, and Bay Area baller or Eric. My bad. Uh, Either one's right. But I twisted myself up on that one like a good old pretzel. But hey, we all went 3-1. So now it's Eric at 6-3. Jay is leading at 7-2. Amin is at 5-4, and I'm at 6-3. So it's tight. I mean, there's 3 games left in this thing, including the Super Bowl. So
Yeah.
hey, man, we're all right there. Hey. I think it was I picked New York, or I would have went 4-0. And then Jay went 4-0, and then the one that Eric missed was the
Bills.
Bills. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Bills. Yep. So,
Yeah.
hey man,
Hey,
let's do it. I'm pretty sure we're all gonna pick the Niners. Hey, but I'm gonna go ahead and just shoot from the hip. I should have stuck to my original prediction last week, but then I just got stupid with him. Was like, we scoring 45. Watch. But hey man, I wouldn't be surprised to see a 27-24 ball game. 49ers. So that's what I'm gonna just shoot it out right there. 24-27 Niners.
Hey, I just wanted to mention real quick. I think Bay Area Baller was talking about the Bengals defense, and they show that they're legit, and they really got after the Bills. So they're
Real
going to be a tough team to beat. But yeah, I think it's going to be a super close game. I think honestly, it's going to be like the Niners and Cowboys game. I think it's going to be like
Same.
15-12 49ers. I don't think there's going to be much offense, but I will say this: I think Kittle and Debo are going to have their best game. Debo's kind of fizzled so far, and he's going to have to bring his toughness, his physicalness to the game and really set the tone on offense. So hopefully Debo can have a big game. I think we're going to need it. But yeah, I'm taking the Niners 15-12.
Hey, Bird Gang, how's the weather out there? I see Bird Gang in the house. We got Gammon in the house.
What's good?
I
looked at the weather report. It's supposed to be, I think, like 30 degrees, but no rain, no snow. So that's perfect football weather.
Hell
that
yeah.
won't be a factor.
Real
Yeah.
talk.
That's less a defensive ball game there,
Yeah.
Jay. And
Let's
I'm
go.
leaning that way too, although I'm going to give it some more. I'm going to say 23-20 49ers.
So we both got 3-point games, man. I'm just a little bit more. Hey, man, how about Joe freaking Burrows, bro? Like undefeated versus Mahomes. Last year he goes into KC and beats Mahomes. This year he goes into Buffalo. And hey, man, I was talking to someone about 6-7 weeks ago, and I was like, bro, I feel like the Bills are kind of like the old school Chargers when they had Gates, Tomlinson, and Rivers, where they're going to go 13-3 and 14-2, and then just crap the bed in the playoffs, man. And I know Josh Allen's had a hell of a playoff. I just have that feeling about certain teams, and people were talking about Josh Allen's emotions, and as the quarterback position, that's one thing you don't want to have. You do not want your emotions to get the best of you. But Joe Burrows, man, he's doing big things, bro. He's the real freaking deal, man. And that whole team, they were the hottest team right behind us going into the playoffs. They were the second hottest team, second longest win streak. So
it was snowing that whole game.
And Burrows,
it was just dumping.
And Burrows lights out, man. Completing pass have just impressive. Yeah. Impressive, man, on the road to do that. Man, I'm gonna take the Bengals, man.
Ooh.
I'm gonna take the freaking Bengals. Hey, he's undefeated versus Mahomes. Hey, hold on, y'all. Hey, go ahead.
And obviously that game's gonna be at Arrowhead. And but Pat Mahomes, he's got the ankle injury. How effective will he be?
Yeah, he does.
He probably won't practice much this week. But I think they'll shoot it up, right before the game, and he'll feel good in the first half, but that'll wear off in the second half. And I think the Bengals defense right now is playing pretty well. I mean, you only allow 10 points in Buffalo to the Bills offense. You had Diggs crying on the sideline. I mean, man. I think the Bengals, and that's crazy. I wonder when was the last time a team I know the Bills did it hella times, but when was the last time a team lost the Super Bowl, went back the next year to the Super Bowl? I wonder before the Bills, or I should say after the Bills. I wonder when the last time that happened. But I think the Bills, I think the Bengals are going back to the Super Bowl. I'll take the Bengals to win 31-21.
You know, Jay, I like your prediction, and I'm doing the math right now, crunching the numbers on how I got it because you're a game up on me
Okay.
in this thing, Jay. So I think strategically, my best way of catching you is to roll with the Chiefs because if I match you, you're still a game up on me, right? Niners, and obviously the Niners get to the Super Bowl. We're all picking them, you know. So I gotta roll with Mahomes. I gotta say, hey, Mahomes, the offense, it looked a bit different, right? Obviously, he was visibly hampered by that ankle injury. It's a high ankle sprain.
Yeah.
High ankle sprain will keep Jimmy out a month and a half.
Easy.
But Mahomes is coming back in the second half. Like, wow, first of all. But
the crystal ball, bro. You said Steve-O Supremo. Hey, my bad to cut y'all off, man. Had a little situation with my dog. Almost had to choke that man out. But yeah, man. I don't promote abusing animals at the same time. My bad, YouTube. But hey, man, the crystal ball, the crystal freaking ball, man. Hey, that was impressive. Hey, that was impressive on your life. Hey, I liked it. I don't, you know, maybe some people, I don't know. Everybody's different, but I thought it brought a cool touch, man. Maybe the Baller will leave it for his show. I don't know if he's got it on the hand.
We might get the crystal ball appearance. The crystal ball, you know, it's not accessible 24/7 for the crystal ball's only available. Yeah, for special occasions.
That's why you got to tune in to Barrier Baller's channel. Make sure you got subscribed to the channel, Barrier Baller. Check him out.
Jay is such a pro. Look at Jay plugging my chat. Yeah, that's right. For what you guys, if you guys don't know, Rich is alluding to is my crystal ball predictions, where I whipped out my crystal ball and made some predictions. But to catch you up, Celts, I'm rolling with Mahomes in Kansas City, mostly because I think that's the best way and only shot I can catch Jay in the Bay. So hey, I got to do it. I got to roll with Mahomes.
Hey, so who's Jay picking?
I'm picking the Bengals.
You put us in a tough spot, huh? Man, I might have to switch it up too, but then it'll be a 3. Man, there's no other way, huh? That's it.
I'm just thinking. That's the only way I can think I could catch Jay.
That's smart. That is the only way. It is what it is, man. I guess that's almost me throwing up the white flag, but then. Oh, and there's the Super Bowl. It is what it is. Hey, man, I'm trying to think if that's everything. I'm kind of thinking that might be everything, man. If you guys want to finish any finish or final thoughts on everything, go ahead and shoot for it. Other than that, we're gonna be dipping out.
I didn't know, Barrier Baller, you were a young Tony Kornheiser. I didn't know that, man.
Hey, PTI was one of my favorite shows growing up. Actually,
I used to watch that middle school when I come home. Yeah.
Well, I remember when they added Around the Horn and Pardon the Interruption into that rotation. It's like when you get home from school, you probably had to switch it to ESPN2 by that time, to catch the rerun of it. But yeah, I would watch both of those, especially PTI, Michael Wilbon and Tony Korn. So I find myself kind of stealing their segments.
Hey, man, that's great material. Yeah, man. I think, and they still do shows now. So that show's been running for like, what, 20 years? Like, excellent, man. Both those shows. So, but yeah.
Real talk, man. I'm starting to have flashbacks of all of it, man. I used to follow not those particular shows, but I would fall asleep to ESPN, man, Sports Center, like every freaking night as a kid, man. And all those shows are great, man. And then, you know, they add on. Man, I gotta almost take a day. I almost got to take a day and see how they get down nowadays. Cause I barely watch any of it nowadays, but I got to take a day to see how they roll out. I know they got they got First Takes, and I know they got Shannon and Skip and
Undisputed. Yeah,
they got Stephen A and all that good stuff. But yeah, I might need to take a day and then just check all that stuff out and see how they get down. But hey, man, any final words? Y'all good to go?
Just appreciate everyone in the chat. Appreciate you guys for coming through. We appreciate the support. We can't read every comment, but I know you guys can chat amongst yourselves. But we appreciate the support, supporting Straight Out of the Bay. If you can, head over to Straight Out of the Bay YouTube channel, subscribe to that. We're trying to build that channel up, and obviously, Mean couldn't make the show today, but of course, support him as well. Kelts, Bay Area Baller, myself. So we appreciate all the support. We'll be back here next Monday night, win, lose, or draw with our Niners. So can't wait.
I did want to throw one thing up though. I don't know if y'all seen. Man, this was the last matchup. You know, I just said this is the last time that Purdy and Jalen Hurts did face each other in college. Like, what a freaking game, bro! 42-41.
Wow.
Like, I mean, hey, I know it's college. I know it's but I just like the fact that these guys have seen each other before. These guys have been in a, you know, I mean, hey, you know, Oklahoma was 8-1. You know, Iowa State wasn't really doing things, and for Purdy to hang with them like that, I think that's kind of impressive. I'm looking at that 5 freaking touchdowns on college or not, man. Hey, man, it's they know each other. I do know that, so I thought that was kind of cool to see that, man. I just wanted to toss that up there. It's going to be Apollo versus Brocky, man. Get ready for it. Get ready. Yeah, peace out. Peace out. We're about to be heading to the Super Bowl. Be confident, man. Lombardi number 6 is freaking loading. Y'all stay up. Y'all stay blessed. You got anything for the people, my man, Eric?
Yeah, I do. 49ers come out, play your A game, right? NFC championship game. You know, it's very difficult to get to this part of the year. So when you get here, you got to capitalize. Leave it all out on the field. Play with heart, play smart, be physical, and good things happen. Hey, fellas, it was a blast. Can't wait to talk to y'all next week.
Peace out, man. See you next week.
Hey, man, sorry, Dallas, but just like Dorito says, it was not your year. It was not your year. Man. Hey, and with that, I think that is the perfect way to do it. Moving. If I could find this video real quick, because I always
what's good where you hide. What's good where you hide?
Page. I see you, Steve-O.
Yeah, Woody Page.
Empezamos de los